break out the keto crackers because I'm going to be spreading some brie all over those because we can eat brie now. All right, I was so stoked to read this newer research because I do like cheese, and I know people think that I hate cheese because I pick it apart and I say you can eat this cheese and you can't eat that cheese, and this cheese will give you horns and this cheese will seatbelt you to the toilet and this one will make you amazing. The thing is, cheeses are very, very different. But when we look at this newer research, we see that certain kinds of cheeses, including brie, including some raw cheddar, including some aged Roquefort cheese, can have huge beneficial effects, not just on your health in general, but especially when it comes down to how well you succeed with the keto diet. So here's kind of the caveat. You gotta have raw cheese, which you might think, dang it, I can't get raw cheese. Well, you can, okay. The FDA in the United States does allow the sales of raw cheeses as long as it's been aged for 60 days. Now, you want it to be aged anyway. You get all this extra benefit. And if you've seen my grocery haul videos, I'm always talking about go for the aged cheeses, hard aged cheeses. I sound like a broken record. I drive you nuts, I know I do, admit it. Okay, but when it comes down to the raw cheese, you get this extra benefit. Now, if you're in Europe or anything like that, you can get raw cheese because you guys are awesome. But what is it about the cheese that works? Well, it contains a bioactive polypeptide that is called transformation growth factor beta. You don't have to remember that. All I care is that you remember what it does. Hey, I do want to make sure you hit that red subscribe button and then hit that little bell icon so you never ever miss a beat. And then make sure you hop into the channel daily when I post a new video just to help out the algorithm a little bit. After this video, check out Thrive Market down below in the description. If you're doing keto, you're gonna wanna check them out and get your pantry staples through them. Not only do you generally find better prices through Thrive than the grocery store because there's no middleman, but it gets delivered to your doorstep, but they also have all the healthy options that you would really be looking for on keto that you might ordinarily find at like Whole Foods for, a bunch of money or in a major metro area. So wherever you are in the States, you could utilize Thrive Market. So highly recommend. There's a special link for viewers of my channel to use down below in the description. Thank you, Thrive Market, for all the support as well. So what is this transformer, growther factor, beta, or whatever it's called, right? What is it? Well, according to the American Journal of Pathology, transformation growth factor beta, hereon referred to as TGFB, is very, very powerful and critical for the rejuvenation of our gut layer, for our intestinal wall. Now, the cells within our intestinal wall, the epithelial cells, they need to go through rejuvenation a lot because they come into contact with tons of things, foods, beverages, minerals, toxins, constantly. Okay, they're constantly getting broken down and need to get rejuvenated. So apparently this TGFB is necessary, and without it, you don't restore the gut. But that's not that fun to talk about. Let's get really weird and talk about the biome, the gut biome, and how it relates with keto, because this is specifically for you. So TGFB interacts with T cells, regulatory T cells, as well as other immune cells. So T cells are immune cells that will live in your gut. Okay, they live everywhere, but they're also in the gut. Okay, so this TGFB from the cheese reacts with these immune cells and triggers them to regulate antibody production in the gut to prevent the overgrowth of certain bacteria. Why is this critical on keto? Well, what happens on keto? All of a sudden you've shifted the kinds of foods that you eat. You're eating copious amounts of fat and not as many starches, right? Well, the gut biome feeds on all kinds of different things. So all of a sudden you're consuming more fats and you have a plethora of bacteria growing in one side and not much growing in the other. Well, you have this skewed and ultimately offset inadequate ratio. What happens here is if you have these raw cheeses, you could potentially bring down the overgrowth of the one bacteria, bringing it back into balance, because the gut is going to communicate with the brain and it does play a big role in our ketone production. We do need to pay attention to this. But as far as the immune system is concerned, we have to look even bigger picture. There was a study that was published in the Journal of Clinical Allergy and Immunology that took a look again at the TGFB and its interaction with regulatory immune cells outside of the gut. It turns out that these raw cheeses, these raw milks, or whatever, are going to play a role in regulating how the immune cells react as far as an inflammatory response, a histamine response, an allergy response goes in the entire body. They found with this particular study that it reduced the incidence of asthma issues. So we see that the immune response that normally triggers any kind of relationship with asthma could be dampened a little bit by having cheese. It doesn't make sense when you look at it first, but when you look at the big picture and the regulatory immune cells, it's pretty darn awesome. So brie, Roquefort, mild cheddar, if it's been aged or if it's actually raw, go for it. It's going to be good on keto, and I would officially declare it as probably a healthy fat given the light of the new research that's come out. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel. I'll see you tomorrow.